float fishing. Boom! Maybe you think these are for little kids and for small fish, but you have been misinformed. These things are great for lots of fish. So I've got a lot of different types of floats here, and we're gonna be using these mega sized floats today to be catching some nice sized fish in the saltwater.
I got enough of his stupidity.
Oh.
Good one? Hey!
Now, I usually think of bobber fishing as a freshwater thing, but that's different when I'm here in Florida. When I'm here in Florida, I throw something like this on my line and a live shrimp, and I can catch some enormous sized fish. I fished it off the pier, I fished it in inlets, I fished it in rivers, creeks, bridges, you name it. This is a really underrated kind of fishing rig. These floats are great for moving water. This works really well to cover water and present your bait in a very, very natural way. I'm gonna kind of run you through how I like to set it up, how I like to use it, and some of the benefits of using a float rig. So these are balsa wood ones I've never tried before. It's just a piece of wood, and it's not as heavy as it looks, but it's dense. I'm gonna try and rig it up right now. So first, I gotta get my supplies to tie this. We're gonna need beads, an egg sinker, leader line, and some hooks. First off, we're gonna put a little bead in first. This will be the stopper. That goes in first. Then we put a float on. Erin, pick one. What should I try first?
Ooh,
Which bobber should I use?
I think you should try one of... How about this one? That
Okay.
looks fun.
I'm assuming this is the top because it's red, and that's a good indicator, a strike indicator. Whoa, I'm threading it in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I might need to put some mono on it. I'm tying a quick uni knot so that I can attach a bit of mono on here. Only so that I can thread this through here like this. Because that braid wouldn't go. Now that it's through, I don't need this mono anymore. So now this bobber is threaded through. And that's a 10-inch bobber right there. Next, we're gonna put a bead, another bead, an egg sinker. I'm putting a 1 ounce egg sinker here. Okay. We'll attach a swivel. And I teach you guys how to do this exact rig step by step in our ebook on how to float fish. Hook with leader line on here. I'm going to attach that to the end of this swivel. Okay, there's the hook, there's the leader line, there's the swivel, and here's the rig. But now here's the most important part. You need to tie the bobber stopper. This bobber stopper will stop the float from moving up the line. So I could set it really deep, like right here, right? And then still be able to cast it out without having to have all that line out. This way you can float really deep depths. So I'm just gonna do a uni knot right here. I teach how to tie all these different knots on our website, heyskipperfishing.com. If you wanna learn, you should know how to tie your knots. That's the bobber stopper. Now we're gonna trim it. Make sure you trim it nice. And yeah, it takes a little bit to set up the float rig, but it's so useful that it's worth it every time. So now look, you see this knot right here? This bead will stop right at that knot, and that's how you set the depth. And this knot also slides. I can move this knot from here to up here if I wanted to, and that's automatically 2 feet deeper. Holy crap, this is an enormous float. I've never fished with a float this big before. It's not as heavy as I thought it would be. I think this will totally go flying. So I'm gonna test out the different floats just to make sure that they float correctly, so that when I go fishing tomorrow, I won't have to miss fish. Let's test them out real quick. All right, first of all, let's see if it floats. Whoa, that's like a lighthouse. That looks nice. And it looks like that 1 ounce is holding it up perfectly. So now look, you see how it's floating like that? This means that it is set too deep and the water is too shallow. And I need to move my knot right here. So look, if I move my knot, now it sits perfectly. So when you're out in the field, you have to kind of adjust to whatever length or distance the bottom is. Dad, look. It's a 10-inch float. Okay? Instead of the other one, so maybe you can see it a little bit better when you cast it further.
Right.
Also, I think this will fly further too, because look at the shape of this.
Right. Yeah. Wow, that's nice.
We have 3 different ones. Come on, guys. We got this slim one. We got this one, which is weighted already. This is called the Lighthouse. We've got these ones, which are pretty lightweight, and a little bit smaller than this one.
That's fine. This one.
You want to do one of these? Okay, so we'll tie this one up to yours, and then I'm gonna try this one out. Oh yeah, you can put a
Put a light.
night light inside here,
Yeah.
like a glow stick. See? You fit a glow stick in here so that you can see it floating out. These other ones.
That looks significant.
Right? You like that one, right?
Significant. I'm gonna use this one. Yeah, that one.
These are the normal ones, and we're gonna use all of them and kind of tell the difference. See what the difference is tomorrow on the field. We're going back to the saltwater dam.
Killing zone.
The killing zone,
The killing zone.
aka the saltwater dam.
Guana.
I'm excited to try these tomorrow. So we just made it to our fishing spot. I've got my float rigs. My dad's here. Our friend Phil's here. Someone that we just met is here. We're all going to be float fishing and trying this out. Let's put a live shrimp on the hook. Right through like that.
Yeah, they're in here. Had a few cut off, like the bit in half. So.
Do you see my bobber out there?
What about it?
It just wobbles different than the other one.
Cassidy.
His dad, Cassidy, my dad, Jack. Who else? Was Louis was here? Yeah. That's crazy. That's a bluefish.
Cutting the shrimp off.
That's crazy.
I didn't think I would find a bluefish in Guana. That was the first time I caught a bluefish on a float like that. Check your line after that. We're good.
Do it again.
Okay, so this huge one is actually a little bit heavy. Like, it's not as easy to use as the small foam one that like Erin's using right now and that I usually use. I'm gonna switch it to something just a little smaller. Let's see how a smaller one works.
Oh.
That one?
Yeah.
That's better, man.
Maybe it was just feisty.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
It's red. It's like the float. Is this too heavy for you, or you think this is
No, this is fine, but it gives you a range of casting farther and stabilize better.
it casts further, you think?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, cast much farther.
Okay, so I switched it from the huge mega one to the little more moderate sized one. This is probably an 8-inch, and this one should cast a little bit easier and also should float nice and high in the water.
Not much. Maybe 4 or 5 inches, maybe. And it's funny, I was actually.
Casts pretty nice.
Oh.
Something tiny.
Yeah.
As soon as I twitched it a little bit, it came and hit it. It twitched it. That's what you had to do.
Yeah.
That's what it's got. That bobber went down nice. It was like this. It was wobbling, and then slowly went down. Those are fun because you don't know when you set the hook, you don't know how big that fish is. It could be a massive one. Sometimes huge ones just come up and bite it like this. Sometimes small ones hit it like this. That's why I love bobber fishing. Just a little trout. This is too small. Oh, it's fun.
I think it's a flounder.
Is it a flounder?
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, there you go.
Your choice. No, not.
Okay, so I've been using that wooden one for a while now, and I'm just gonna switch over to a little bit something shorter. This smaller rod, I'm gonna cast a little closer in because you have to search for different spots for them. I've already searched all those far out spots and really didn't get too many fish. Maybe in closer we'll have some more fish. So let's test this last float.
That's because he don't have no car wash tank on
Well,
that.
his helper quit on him.
Oh, did he?
He told him he had enough of his stupidity.
Through this.
Spicy guy.
I thought it did. It looked like it's over to 15. Oh, she didn't feel mine. I see.
Let's see. I think that's in.
That should be.
16 and a half. That's in.
They're running twos, it seems like. I caught one and you saw him down?
Yeah. Oh, I think. Oh, he's got it.
Got him.
There's the
After
little
the 10 trout,
jailbird.
it's caught me a dozen of shrimp. Okay?
This little bobber is actually way easier to cast than that big one. That big one is kind of heavy and it's also kind of bulky, but I like how stable it is and how tall it is and how visible it is in the water. It's easier to throw this over and over again.
I think he knows enough that probably is not a good idea to actually do this.
Happened so suddenly. I was just laughing. Probably 15 and a half again.
Come on, man.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, never mind. It's a sheep's head. Never mind.
There.
Sheep's head. Way too small. Way too small. Ooh. Oh, okay, so this close one is actually hitting pretty good.
He looked at his chart. I was fishing. I watched him. He came down and put his stuff.
Is that here or at the beach?
At the beach next. And he had their discretion. If you're like, hey, this was 18 when I measured it, and it's right at it, he's probably not gonna.
Yeah, I had one.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's a nice trout. 17 inches. That's perfect size for me to eat. All right, so we had a pretty slow day, but I mean, we all got some fish. I got a couple keepers. These will be frozen and transported home back to my grandma. But yeah, I mean, it was an all right day of fishing. But yeah, the bobbers, all of them worked pretty well. I love floating. I love fishing with bobbers, and I hope you guys can try it too. Spencer, your shrimp flew off. There's not much of a difference really. It's all really up to your own preference. All of them work. Like you see here, everyone's using a different float. Everyone's catching fish. It's up to personal preference. Let me know in the comments what kind of float do you prefer. I hope you guys like watching. If you want to learn more about fishing, check out our website, heyskipperfishing.com. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.